Yeah, go ahead and get it rolling.
Welcome to the GM Perspective. I'm Kasey Ramey, and I'm joined by co-host Shane Khel, Principal Mr. Mennow, and then two teachers that are retiring, Mrs. Bremner and Mr. Trush. Welcome in.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Go ahead and tell us how long you have been teaching. I'm just going to age people.
I've been here since the fall of 1989. It's 36 years.
I've been here for 27.
It's a long career in teaching. Give us a little of what are some of the biggest changes you've seen from when you started that long ago to now?
The biggest changes I've seen have actually been in the building itself. When I first started here, we had portable classrooms out in the back of the school, and the 500 hall didn't exist. And my classroom was in room 205, which was right next to the teacher's smoking lounge. And so they would open up that door, and big clouds of smoke would come out of there. It was awful. And then they renovated the school. So what is the main office now used to be the cafeteria. Mrs. Zona's room was the main office. It's just changed completely. But I think the character of the school and the personality of the community has stayed the same.
Over the course of 36 years, did you teach English 9 the entire time?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
And every grade level at some point, but
Yeah.
always ninth grade.
Always English.
Where was the Smoker's Lounge? It's rumored to be the old book room.
Yeah.
Is that right?
There was a little card table there with the lamp and just three people. Yeah.
And your room was where?
205. It was where Mr. Hayes' room is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, then you did
Wow.
smell you'd smell that smoke room all
Oh
the
my
time.
gosh. Oh, yeah. It didn't last long. It was only there for a year or two, maybe with renovations. I'm not sure.
But it was there from the 60s probably, or whenever,
I heard
originally.
they used to have a student smoking area in the olden days.
Different world.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Cigarette smoke was so easy to find too, and
Mm-hmm.
smell. Everyone was used to having it around, or in some way, even in their personal lives. Like we were talking about that growing up. It was just like my mom and dad smoked for a little while.
Mm-hmm.
And it seemed like everywhere you went, people were smoking. Now we're trying to find these vapes, and we can't smell them. It's a lot harder. They're getting
That
better
has
at it, or it's
changed.
very fruity smelling. It's like
Yes.
Yeah.
It's changed a lot.
yeah. Mr. Treusch, how about you?
When I started, we did grades on bubble sheets. It was very soothing. You just get the color in the grades and turn them in. And now everything's digital. So we've gone, that route for a long period of time.
When people were bringing in the digital, were you for or against the digital, like jumping from paper grades to digital and everything?
I was definitely against. I resist change.
Well, Schoology wasn't a thing, surely, right?
No.
Jeez, how was that jump? I think Schoology's the best thing ever. I think it's so easy to handle.
We didn't even have iPads.
Oh, yeah?
We didn't have teachers didn't have computers.
I had a computer in my room once. I remember getting a computer
Yeah.
and thinking,
Yeah.
this is a miracle.
Those little white MacBooks.
No,
Oh,
it's
oh.
gigantic.
Oh,
It's a
yeah.
Big
Gigantic one?
white monstrosity.
Plugged into the
yeah.
wall.
With a dot matrix printer.
Oh, I didn't have
Oh,
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was fancy.
You worked in the real world outside of education for a little while before you got into teaching. Well, tell us a little bit about that.
I worked for Allegheny London Steel in their test lab, doing quality testing for them. My first degree is engineering, and so I did that for 7.5 years. They had a little retirement party for me, and then I came off I got married in 1995, and right before that, I kind of felt called to teach. I was in a young adult Bible study in Plumboro, and I felt this calling to teach. So I was like, well, what can I do here? I know, engineering stuff. So I enrolled in Pitt in a master's of mathematics. I had one class in the Cathedral of Learning, and so then I got married at that point, quit my job, retired, moved to Erie, and I thought, so what do I know? I know physics, so I went to Edinburgh to get certified to teach physics. Then they hired me here to teach physics and math, and so then I had to take a few more courses to get certified in math, even though the engineering wasn't enough for some reason. And so I can remember my first couple years teaching or in the math curriculum at Edinburgh, there were students in class with me there who would later come and observe me teach because I was actively teaching math. And so it was kind of a strange dynamic with that.
What made you want to leave engineering?
It wasn't exactly engineering. It was more quality control kind of things. It was the calling. I felt called to teach. And so that's what, and when the way was made, when I got married, I was able to, okay, I'm relocating. Now I can step into the calling.
And how did you get into General McLane?
Well, I got into I student taught here in Cambridge Springs. Or maybe it was a junior field here, in Scott Korb's room. So I lived in Lake City, and Scott Korb and his son rode over to my house on their bikes and told me there was a job opening. I was like, well, wait a minute. It said biology. That was the fill. And I was like, I can't do that. And Scott was like, no, it's physics. Because Brett Vath was teaching a Principles of Technology course. And so he was moving to biology straight, and I was going to fill in that. So there was me and Shane McIntyre. We both interviewed for this and for a position in Erie. And I got this one, and he got the one in Erie.
Wow.
That's cool.
Yeah.
How about you, Diane? How did you end up here at GM?
I graduated and got out at my typewriter, and I sent a letter to every school in the what is it called?
Just Erie County?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every school, and I got an interview at Union City and General McLane. And General McLane said, "We want you." So I said, "Okay, thank you. Yes, please." I was really impressed. I was really happy to be here. I felt lucky.
What was the hiring committee like back then?
Oh my gosh, I don't think I could get hired now. Let's see, it was Don Douglas, Rick Scaletta, and Don Ickes, the three of them, and we sat in Don Douglas's office and talked. I really don't remember much. I wore a Navy suit. I was nervous. I remember when I went to go for my final interview with Dr. Walter, I was sitting there and she was kind of shuffling papers on her desk a little bit, and there was a moth in the room. And it wasn't a little moth. It was one of those gigantic ones with furry wings. And I just kept moving around and just kind of changing because kept getting closer and closer to me. And she finally recognized it and said, "Oh, I see you have a friend." And she didn't hold that against me and got hired anyway.
That was back before we had to do performance interviews.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that would be
Yeah.
terrifying.
Yeah.
I think that would be scary.
Yeah, it is such a different world. Even when I interviewed here, I'm just a couple years behind you, but my process was involving the whole department. The English department was there.
Was it?
Yeah,
I watched you?
I'm pretty sure. I did not teach a lesson.
Okay.
But we were in the conference room, and it was the whole English department. Most of as far as I remember, most of the English department was there. So that was just a few years later. That must have been like when Rick became principal thing.
Mm-hmm.
He started to do that part of the process.
I think Don Douglas's degree was in English. Maybe that's why they didn't include anybody then.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
Yeah. Different process for sure.
Definitely.
I'm curious as to how people, I don't want to say dressed, but is it a lot different? Like when you first started, was it 90s? 90s or early thousands? How did everybody dress?
No jeans.
No jeans.
Even when we know there's no paying for them either, because now we pay to wear them. I remember when Gail Solomon told me when she first started teaching here, women were not allowed to wear pants.
Really?
Yep. It took a long time for they earned that right.
Did we ever have a dress, like a outfit we had to wear?
Never a uniform.
We never had a uniform?
I don't think so, no.
We didn't have a uniform, but there was a dress code.
Mm.
And it was posted in my room. It was short sleeve, and the pants had to be short pants had to be a certain length.
Mm. Wow.
I mean, you've seen every group of students come through with, change of when you look at changes, is there something that you wish we'd go back to a time of, obviously I'm sure there's a time that you wish we'd go back to with less of the shenanigans, but is there a time that you've seen like shenanigans and how people act change, or is it just went in a progression of as the world has changed?
I would think the advent of the cell phone has allowed for more communication between students to allow for more shenanigans.
In some ways, it connects kids, but it also is there a lot of disconnect. And I think their social skills aren't as good. Sometimes I can be walking down the hall and say hello to somebody, and they won't even respond because they're closed off.
They can't hear you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever have to address teachers? Like, I thought somebody said that you had to address teachers and you had to know every teacher's name when you saw them. Was that never a thing? I thought you had to know every teacher's name.
You should.
Well, yeah,
It's only-
but
As a student or faculty?
as a student, I thought you'd know.
You feel like that happened though more naturally back
Mm-hmm.
years ago, where no one would walk by you in the hall. Very, very rarely would anybody ever walk by you in the hall and not say hello back, at least, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I've noticed that too.
They're not willing to talk so freely. They'll just kind of nod or shake their heads in class rather than speak out loud.
I was just in South Bend looking for apartments for my son. He's going to go to get a PhD at Notre Dame in physics. But there were people that took us on the tour. The younger people that took us to show apartments were like you described, just kind of flat. The older people, they were just all conversational and just talking back and forth. But the younger people are just like, you know, I think it might be because of the social skills we're lacking.
Teaching strategies, how have you, I mean, obviously you've had to change your teaching strategies over the years. When you change them, do you look back and be like, you like your new way better? Or how did like going from like a chalkboard to a whiteboard to everything digital?
I like things digital. It's a lot easier to go back and tweak things when it's digital because I can just think, what wasn't quite right and go back and make some quick changes. I much prefer it this way. Definitely.
I still use the whiteboard. I pass out papers. Yeah. My stuff is posted in Schoology, but I don't collect anything through Schoology. Everything comes by paper.
You still want a VCR?
I still have a VCR and I use it, and I have a DVD player too.
You found a workaround for the VCR, right?
Hey, I have a film strip projector in my room if you want to use that.
I actually still have a laser disc, but I don't use that one.
Okay.
I don't know what those are, and I kind of like,
It's like-
as I'm like,
It's like
I feel like,
it's like a DVD that's like this big.
yeah.
Has movies on it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's funny. I wish I used those, but
I think it'd be cool to go back and be like a fly or something to walk, like to be in the halls like even 10, 20, 30 some years ago and see. And obviously things have, you can talk about it, but to see it is like such a whole different world.
That's why we have yearbooks.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Mm-hmm.
So, how has another kind of building on Kasey's question, disregard technology, how has your teaching style evolved over the years? Or is it pretty much the same if we walked into that classroom of yours in 1989 or 1995?
98.
98.
Yeah.
Would we see what would be the differences we'd see? How have you evolved, or have you remained pretty consistent in your approach?
I don't really know that I am that much different now that I think about it. I mean, it's a lot of the content's still the same. You give a writing assignment. When you're done, you look at those common mistakes and figure out, okay, what do I need to reteach? So I think the roots and the foundation are the same. It's just the tools and the flair has changed, I would say.
I would think that over time I developed much more into a Socratic method where I question students to get them to give me the answer.
Nice.
And as a class and individually.
are you guys still in contact with, or have you like seen your students grown up since you've taught them? Is that funny or weird seeing that?
You know what's weird is having their former students' children in class.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh.
So we also work with our former
Yes.
students.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's true.
When I was first started, Sybil Moriera was a student of mine and one of my cheerleaders because I used to be a cheerleading advisor for years. can't believe saying that. And now I have her daughter, so it's kind of nice to be ending my career with her daughter. It's nice. Full circle.
You know, there's a cheerleading opening right now. If
So
you
I
want to
heard.
retire from teaching, you can come back and be the
I'm good.
cheerleader.
I think I'm good. I have been there.
When you look, I mean, obviously colleagues, but beyond colleagues, do you see that I mean, obviously there's a change because students have changed, but the teaching styles, like, has the way you guys taught your 36 years, when you're looking into classrooms today, is that completely different than how you've put your picture of what teaching is?
Can you rephrase that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How you've taught, once you got your style, you've taught that way. Do you see people that are still teaching in the same style that you have, or has everyone came up with their own method over the years?
I would say since we are not in other classrooms very much, that's somewhat difficult to answer. But people are unique, so they have their own styles.
As your career is winding down now, like my wife's also retiring this year, so there's a lot of things that she is saying, this is the last time I'll have to do this, and she's really happy about it. Like kind of two parts to this. First, like event wise, parts of the year wise, what are the things that you will absolutely not miss? And then on the contrary, what are the things that you would miss?
I just finished grading my last research paper, like an
Gosh.
annotated bibliography. It just felt so good, especially the annotated bibliographies. It felt that was just like a big weight lifted off my shoulder. But what I think I'm going to miss the most are just the people, just seeing nice people every day. That's what. That's the thing.
Grading papers in English classes. I mean, it is such a drag. It's not. I mean, obviously there's some enthusiasm
Yes.
for the job, but man, it's hard to look at a stack sometimes, and you just have to be in the right mindset to get it done and do it right.
I don't think people realize how much time we spend on the weekends. Like there are times when I work 6-7 days a week, just nonstop.
My mother was a professor at Gannon, and she did English, and she was up all night, so I can feel your pain a little bit. So, yeah.
I'm going to get to sleep and read other books that I want to read, and I'm excited.
Oh, that's nice.
But I'll miss young people. They help to keep me young, so I'll miss that.
I think as a math and physics teacher, I always looked at the English teachers as like, wow, their job is so much more time intensive. Because I can look at a math problem and so, okay, half a point off for units, or here's what you have to do. So they definitely had to spend a whole lot more time.
Yeah, it's a little different because for mathematics, there's one definite answer most of the time. But language arts, you can get flexible and creative with your answer. So you need to really analyze that.
Yeah. So for me, I think I won't miss dealing with absenteeism, getting students back up to speed. That's the one thing I won't miss. I will miss teaching physics because I love teaching physics. I love it when students love the physics as well, and so we really connect. I'll miss doing teams because that was always fun, and of course miss the students and colleagues.
What are your future plans now? What's the next steps?
Well, I'm the treasurer of a youth cross-country ski organization. I've been on the board of the directors of the Women's Care Center for 20 years. I'm their board president. I made a cemetery into a nonprofit, and I manage that for free. I'm the president of that board. I lead a life group at church. I'm going to be on a care team at church. So I think I'm going to... People ask, how do you do all this all right now when you're still working? So it'll be easier to do some of that stuff.
Good. You didn't even mention the Steelers.
Well, that's a given. It was interesting, though, that normally when the Steelers schedule comes out, I go online and I start, well, that's a Monday night game. I need to take off Tuesday morning. I didn't have to do that.
Oh.
You were always. I kind of knew the schedule based on when you would submit your requests for days. I'd be like, oh, the Steelers must play that because Dave doesn't take off otherwise.
Yeah.
Nice. Diane, what are your next steps?
Well, I'm not that president of. Oh, I'm president of the HOA, but that's easy. I'm going to take care of my mom a bit. She's 85. She lives close to me. She's got double vision, but still drives. She says she just closes one eye, so I'm going to take care of her. I might do a little subbing at the elementary school next door to me. Maybe we'll see what that's like. I'm going to do some traveling in September. I'm going to go over to Scotland and to England and to France for about a month or so.
You have family in Scotland, don't you?
My sisters live there.
I remember you talking about going down there.
And so she's treating me to this wonderful vacation. And then I'm just going to kind of just live. I want to volunteer back at the zoo. I used to volunteer at the zoo cutting up meals, and I'd kind of like to get back to doing some of that. And I also might like to get involved helping to, especially if our laws should change, I'd like to help people who might be disenfranchised. I'd like to help them register to vote and become more active in that. Yeah.
Sounds like awesome plans. Thanks so much for your many years of dedication to students within the General McLane School District and without and everywhere you've been. We thank you for that. And thanks so much for all of your years of teaching. Thank you for listening to the GM Perspective. I'm Kasey Ramey.
Shane Khel.
Mr. Mennow.
Mr. Trush.
Ms. Bremner.
Make it a great week and spread kindness when you can.